ladies and gentlemen, welcome to book club. So, yay! Those of you who are
Hello.
joining us on Twitch today, I am sorry we are having some technical issues that I think it's got to do with my computer. Um, yeah, so let me just refresh everybody and see if I can see everybody again. Oh no, I still can't see Ray. Can we hear Ray at least? Hi Ray. Oh, I cannot hear her.
Yeah, same.
I see her turning green, but I cannot hear her. Oh no. Ray, somehow you're muted again. I don't know. I don't know what happened.
She didn't do anything also.
Okay, she muted herself manually and then unmuted. Can you hear us now? So Ray, if you're, I still can't hear you. So if you can hear me, you click into the general voice chat and then come back into the book club voice chat so that it refreshes your mic. No, I can't hear her. Le- growing pains, right? We're all learning. Oh yay, there we go.
Yeah.
I see Ray now.
I see a cute dragon.
Yeah, cute dragon is better than no Ray, you know. Did she manage to log out and log in? Because I completely cannot hear her now. So Hidayah, you're welcome to join us for today's book club. Today the book that we're talking about is called Grit, okay, by Angela Duckworth. It's a very interesting book. So, uh, oh, yay, Ray is back. Did you manage to get her back? Ah, there we go. I can see her video now. But there's still no sound coming from her. Or,
Yeah.
or is there some problem with my... Hidayah, can you hear me? Am I loud enough?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you very clearly. It's just my mic usually has an issue picking up my voice. I am so soft spoken that it is so difficult to hear my voice. Oh, okay, that's good, that's good. Hidayah says our voice are clear, right? And now I can see Ray. So maybe can we hear Ray? Test the mic a little bit.
I can see Ray.
Tika, can you hear Ray? Because I can't. I still cannot hear Ray.
It's like a little bit lagging.
Oh, it's a bit lagging.
I thought I hear something, then after that it's like kind of mute.
Yeah, I also thought I heard something.
Hello?
Oh, yay!
Yes.
Hello?
We can hear Ray now. Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
Oh no, and she's gone again.
Hello?
Or was it lagging? I think the line is very lagging there.
I think
It's
so.
like, yeah.
Yeah. So the video is faster than your audio. Wow.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on actually.
Well, that's something new. Okay, but now we can hear you. Yay! Good job.
Well,
Um,
the video on your side is lagging on my side. Ah, yeah.
yeah, I think it's a Malaysian thing. We need to do something about it. I will do something about it soon. Um, yeah. So, one step at a time then, right? So welcome guys, welcome to our first Team Untapped Book Club stream. Yay! Forgive us for the past 5 to 10 minutes of technical issues, right? So what is the Team Untapped Book Club gonna be all about? We are a group of people who like to read, or at least like to learn from books, right? And what we do on the Team Untapped Book Club is gonna be we're gonna. Oh, by the way, the word Team Untapped Book Club, right, is open to change. Okay, if you guys want to have a better name, y'all can always propose a better name for me. All right. Um, so what is it about? What we're gonna do is we're gonna approach a book, a chapter at a time, hopefully, or maybe a few pages at a time, so that we can understand deeper about the meaning behind the book, and we can all learn more from the book. Okay, so uh, we are going to record this, all right, and we're most likely going to stream it. We are also going to stream it live. So those of you who can join us, we're going to do this every morning, every Wednesday morning at 10:30 is reading time. So we'll have 15 minutes of reading time, and then we'll go into the discussion about the book. All right. So today's book is called Grit by Angela Duckworth. Yay! All right. So okay, let's have fun. All right. So the book Grit by Angela Duckworth was published a while ago, okay, and it talks a lot about how a person can succeed not because of their talent, but because of their power of passion and perseverance, okay, and overall grit. All right, it's a very interesting book. I've learned quite a lot from it. But before we go into the book, let's have a short introduction of everybody who are participating in our Team Untapped Book Club. So any one of you guys who have any questions, you can ask in the chat. I'm monitoring the chat, so you guys can ask ahead, and I will answer them as appropriate. Okay. So my name is Kenji. All right. Today I am the host. I think maybe one of these days we can take turns, right? If I host today, and then next week maybe Atika can host, right? Or maybe the next week Ray can host or something like that, right? So we'll see, right? Uh, I'm Kenji. My job is I'm an MA distributor, all right? So I love reading. I've always been reading since I grew up, and I read the book Grit about 4 years ago. And what I really found interesting about it was the way Grit describes that anybody can learn how to gain this power called grit to become successful. Okay, so that's my introduction. Ray, let's have your introduction, shall we?
Okay, hello everyone. I am Ray. I'm a fan of Kenji. We've met quite a while back. I'm currently working in events, and I got introduced to this book club through Kenji as well. And to be honest, I've heard about the book Grit, but I've not actually picked it up and read it thoroughly until Kenji sold me the idea that this is a really good book that I should check out, and that the book club will be discussing about it. So that's why I'm here, to put it in a nutshell. Yeah, hope to learn a thing or two from this session and dive deeper into this book by Angela Duckworth. Yeah.
All right, thanks, Ray. And we also have Atika joining us. Atika, your tudong same color as my background now.
I thought it's pink. Hi everyone. My name is Atika. I'm actually how to say this, a full-time programmer and currently pursuing into looking into the fitness area. I was introduced. Kenji actually introduced this book to me. We went to Big Bad Wolf, I think last 2 years, and he was like keep on complimenting about this book, and keep told me that I should get this. I actually have this book for a while, but I haven't actually have time to read it. So yeah. So this time around, I hope I will finish this book on time. Yeah.
All right. Finish this book on time. That's very important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So, you guys can't see my slides, right? Because you guys are not on Twitch. Let me see if I can share it to Discord. Oh, does it change? Oh, it does. It does change. Okay, never mind. See, Tika, your tudung same color as my background. See, not?
Oh, you mean that background? Okay.
Okay, I'm gonna stop streaming because it switches all the pictures everywhere. Okay, so this is the book Grit. Thanks for everybody's self intro. So, hi Tika, hi Ray. All right, welcome to today's sharing. Okay, just a simple breakdown of some rules that we have. Okay, so there are three rules. We always welcome questions from the audience. So go ahead and type in the chat if you have any questions related to the book. Okay. No, you please do not ask Kenji if you can have his private number. Kenji doesn't swing that way. All right. Okay. Rule number two: discussions are deep and can come from any angle. So always be open to receiving ideas. You may not agree with the ideas, but please receive the idea first before rejecting it. Okay, this goes to me. I have been known to reject ideas very, very quickly. So if I infringe this rule, go ahead and remind me. Okay. And the rule number three is some examples may be from personal experiences. So please do not attack the people involved in the experience because you never know who you're attacking. Okay, you don't want to be like um, someone shares something and then you go all personal on it. Okay, we want to keep the book club as a safe space so that everybody can talk about how they feel, what they learn, and everybody's entitled to their own ideas and opinions. I just want to share them out so that everybody else can learn from them. All right, so attacking them is not a good idea. Okay, so chapter one. Let's jump into the book. All right, let's start talking a little bit about the book. So today we're going to talk about chapter one. Chapter one, the title is called "Show Up." Right. So showing up. All right. So this chapter is a very short chapter. It's only about 10 pages long. Right. 5 to 10 pages long, depending on which version of the book you have. Okay. So I want to ask everybody. The first question that I like to throw out to everybody, all right, was, what do you mean? What do you think showing up means? Because the first part of the book says show up. The first chapter of the book says show up. Do you think that showing up is important? What do you think showing up means? Does it mean just being there, or do you think that there's something else that we should do to consider ourselves as showing up? Right? What do you guys think? Let's hear from someone. Come on, Tika.
Show up. I think the first step in everything that you do, you need to start with yourself. I always think like for example, if I want to run, I need to show up on the running track first before I can start running, right? So yeah, show up means start with yourself first. Even in the book also say like by the time you set foot on the campus, you've actually earned it. So yeah, to me that's the meaning of it. I think
Right.
so. Yeah.
Cool. Cool. So if we look at the book, I've got the book here. Right. So
Hmm.
anyone who's joining us online can see. Okay. So it says showing up. Right. What do you think, Ray?
To me personally, showing up means like to overcome whatever inertia that you have, especially towards an activity that you know that is good for you, but during that split second you have a thought that it's like going to the gym and say you feel all gung ho about it, but maybe give yourself about 10 to 15 minutes later and you go like, nah, you know what, I don't feel like it today, I'm a bit tired, and you can start finding excuses. So to me, showing up is really taking that initiative and overcoming that that initial inertia you feel that's pulling you back and saying, no, I don't want to do it. Like for me this morning, and as I was doing my daily exercises, I'm like, oh man, do I really need to do this particular exercise? It's tiring. It kind of hurts, but you know what? I'm gonna do it anyway. And the next thing you know, I did it. So I think that's what showing up really means. It's just to overcome area in yourself, that mentality that says no, you don't want to do it, and say no, I'm lazy, and no, I'm tired, and yeah. But through experience, I realized that showing up actually makes a lot of difference in whether it's an event or a workshop that you signed up for, or even for a session like this. Just showing up actually makes a difference, and to me, it means being actually engaged in whatever activity it is as well. I mean, you can actually show up, let's say for a talk, for an online talk, or for a webinar, which has been quite common since the pandemic. You can just actually leave your phone on and let the speakers of the webinar talk, but doing something else. So in that definition, you're not actually engaged. You're not fully paying attention. So to me, showing up means that as well. It means to be fully engaged, putting your full attention into whatever is being presented, or even in whatever activity that you are doing at that point. You're fully present. So yeah.
Wow. I I really like the way you broke it down, Ray, and I totally agree with what Tika mentioned earlier. So showing up, if you want to win at something, you definitely have to show up. If you didn't show up, you definitely won't win, right? So like for example, can you imagine, oh, I want to win this marathon, but I'm still in bed when the marathon started. That's not going to happen. And also like what Ray said about, showing up means to overcome that inertia. I totally agree with this. If you have ever tried anything new, you would know that it always comes with anticipation, it always comes with anxiety. You start worrying about whether you're gonna be okay. And showing up means overcoming that anxiety, overcoming that fear, overcoming that, like what you said earlier, overcoming that inertia to get you to that point, right? So a lot of people,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, yeah. Go on.
Yeah, continue. I was just agreeing with you.
So a lot of people um, neglect the fact that showing up is really really important, right? It's a very powerful example of actually being there. Uh, One of the examples in the book, they use the admissions process for West Point, and they have this rigorous activity called the Beast, and everybody knows about the Beast being so scary, right? But to get to the Beast, you actually have to first qualify for West Point. And in the first three chapters of the book, uh, she already mentions that for you to qualify to West Point, you need to have top scores on your SAT or ACT, and you have outstanding high school grades. And you even need to start your application from the 11th grade, and then you also need to make sure your fitness assessment, you can do your running, your push up, your sit up, and everything. Wow. Out of 14,000 people, only 1,200 qualify. So that means less than 10% of the people who apply for West Point actually get into West Point. So you can see, showing up is really, really important before we can ever get to anything else. So for all those of you who showed up today, congratulations and thank you for showing up. All right. So then we move into the next part of the chapter, right, where she talks about the beast. Okay. So the beast, wow, the beast is another very famous milestone in American military uh, culture, right? So
Yeah.
Yeah, everyone talks about how the beast is so scary, and if you go to West Point, then you have to go through this before you can become a real soldier, right? And yeah, the beast looks really scary. If we look at the book right now, it talks about the beast. One typical day starts at 5 a.m. and ends at about 10 p.m. with no time for really personal time. I mean, yeah, there's half an hour of personal maintenance time in the morning and 15 minutes of personal maintenance time in the evening, but you don't really get much. You don't really
I
get
don't
much
think you have
personal time.
day off too, right?
Say again?
They don't have day off too, right?
The elf?
Day off.
Day off.
Day off.
Yeah, I don't remember them having a day off. I think it's like few months non-stop. So yeah, it gets really grueling, and not to mention there are some times, right, where they have night training. So the night training goes through the night. So even though you wake up at 5, you're still training throughout the night. So yeah, it's a tiring process. Anybody else go through something like the beast in your daily life? Maybe Tika or Ray? I don't know. Do you guys like wake up at 5 a.m. to go to work or something?
No, but I, I think if let's say you're going to become a mother or parent soon, then you're going to expect this lah. That's gonna, I think now that you mentioned it.
Oh, that's gonna be a beast, huh?
Yes.
That's definitely
True,
gonna
true,
be a
true.
beast. Tika?
I don't know. This reminds me of my school days actually. I have to wake up by 6 and then like because and then after that my mom will go to school, and after school I have like tuition class until 6, and then nighttime is like time for me to do my homework, and then I always sleep at 11 last time. So in a way it's sort of like this, but like in academic sense.
True, true.
Hmm.
But that one a bit different from beast because that one is like 6 years of your life, right? Minimum.
True,
At
true.
least we got school holidays.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. At least you get school holidays. And you get
Yeah.
weekends. But
Your weekends off also. Yeah, at least we got a Sunday off lah. Huh?
yeah, if you got
Yeah,
Sunday
Sunday
off,
off.
right? Otherwise you got tuition on Sunday.
Oh, I do have tuition
So
on Sunday.
I
So
used to have tuition from 12:30 p.m. on just Saturdays, 12:30 p.m. all the way to 6. I'm like, what was
wow,
I thinking? And I went
wow.
through it for about my Saturday's gone. Then at night must continue to study. I think this was during final, I think Form 5. So yeah, it was like a beast.
Yeah, man. It's like Asians automatically qualify for beast, I think.
Study, but the thing is that all we do is study.
True, true,
Except we
true.
don't do physical exercise, right? So that's why all the Asians all
No,
become so fat.
either fat or very scrawny.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Either fat or very scrawny. No time to eat, right? So which is a very legit point, right? Because if we look at the book, right? If we look at the book, she says, "Who makes it through beasts?" Right? And she talks about all the people who go through beasts. Okay, uh, they need all this courage and they need to do all these things, and they're all smart people. And then she meets this
Mm.
person called Mike Matthews, right? Who is a military psychologist at West Point, right? And he says, uh, this your candidate score in West Point, right, is a little bit better than just the SAT or ACT's exams, but it still cannot tell you who will succeed through B's, right? But Mike
Mm.
Matthews has his own experience. He joined the Air Force as a young man, right? And even though Air Force is not so bad as West Point, okay, but he says that uh, the people who succeed, right, is about having this never give up attitude. It's the people who actually just says, I'm just gonna hang in here and survive, right? So
Survive.
yeah, and
Five.
survive. So
Survive, not thrive, but survive.
yeah,
There's a difference, yeah.
yeah, it's a huge difference, right? I mean, survive versus
Yeah.
thrive, right? Yeah, and I think it's very interesting when Mike Matthews mentioned that Angela actually said she will start to interview leaders in business, art, athletics, journalism, academia, medicine, and law, and she asked them the question is like, who are the people at the top of your field? What are they like, and what do you think makes them special, right? And there were all sorts of things, which she categorized as more or less grit, right? Which comes to the next question, which is a very interesting one that Ray posted to me earlier, which was, have you ever shown grit? Do you think that you have grit?
Yeah, uh when was the last time we demonstrated grit? Yeah, that was the question. I mean, because that was the question that popped in my mind when I was going through the chapter. I said, when was the last time I showed that much grit? And I was just in a situation where I'm just surviving and not thriving, or I am thriving. So was there a time? Yeah. And if not, then if not, then will there be an opportunity, or can I practice it now? What can I do? How can I apply what I'm learning in this book? So yeah.
So what do you think, Tika? Have you ever shown grit, and when was the last time that you were so gritty?
I'm trying to like recalling all my past events. I think this after I graduated from my degree, right? I actually took cognitive science in school, and it's actually back then is fairly a new field that I myself do not know how I should pursue, in my next outline, what I should pursue for my career and stuff like that. When I talk to my lecturer, they be like, the world is an open book. You can be whatever you want. So one day I saw an advertisement about it's the postgraduate program. I cannot remember what's its name. So I end up for a 6-month course of computer programming. I actually have no background in IT. I only know like a little bit of coding, but that's it. When I went into that 6-month program, it's actually like, like you learn the back end, you learn the front end, you learn basically everything new. And all my classmates there is actually from IT background. So they knew what they were doing. I was like, did I make the right decision on coming here? So I was like, you know what? I just hang in there, and I just like, you know what? I'm just gonna grab any chances that I get. It's just 6 months. Let's see what's gonna happen. After 6 months, I accepted into my current job, which is the programming. So yeah, I think that's the grittiest moment that I ever met. I think there are a few others, but that one is like the most memorable one.
Wow,
Yeah.
that must have been a very gritty one. So since Ray asked this
Yeah.
question, we'll
I,
save
I
it for
really
last.
love that story. I love what you've gone through, actually, Atika. It's like the whole what am I doing? And everyone is like, so much more experience than I am, and I just came in with a little bit of experience, but you know what? I'm just gonna hang in there and stick it out. I mean, yeah, I really admire that. That takes a lot of courage, really, and mental strength and grit. So yeah.
Thank you for that.
Yeah, man. Good job. Good job, Tika. Right.
Yeah.
Well done.
Congratulations.
Awesome.
So okay. Since Ray, since you asked this question, we'll save your experience for the last. Let me go first then. My most recent grittiest example will be, um, there was once just last week I was running I was trying to do 10 km every other day, and what happened was I was wearing a pair of pants that wasn't appropriate for it, and I didn't know. So halfway through my run, actually about 3 to 5 kilometers into the run, I could feel that there was a pain across my chest, and around that time, I also had a feeling that my thigh, my inner thigh, was very very painful. And I told myself, I said, uh, okay, I can stop here and not succeed to achieve my target of 10 km, or I can keep going, right? So I told myself, I said, you know what, I know this is uncomfortable, I know this is painful, but regardless, I'm just gonna finish this 10 km because I set myself out to start 10 km today. I am going to make sure I finish 10 km today, right? So I kept running. Sometime around the 6 kilometer, my pants tore a hole so big you could fit a third leg through it.
Oh dear.
uh, and by the time I finished my 10 km, I couldn't really walk properly. My thigh was there were very bad abrasion and all that. So I was like, oh, this is so painful. Okay, never mind. I'll just go back. Once I was done with that, okay, my friend, Tika asked me to go out for food and to go and meet her friend. So I was like, okay, let's go, right? And then at the end of it, right, she saw my pants having blood on it. And I didn't know. I didn't know that, right? I didn't know that my pants had blood on it. So I when she pointed it out to me, then I was like, oh crap, my pants had blood on it. And what actually we found out happened was my entire inner thigh, the skin just tore off.
Wow.
Ow.
And on my chest I had some pains, right? I found out that the you know those logos that they sew onto your t-shirt, okay?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Actually shaved my nipple until my nipple got cut off. So
Oh,
so
that's a very strong visual description.
so that was
It sounds like you're going through a beast training.
yeah, that was beast, all right. So and after that I'm still running. I just did 2 km yesterday, and I'm planning to do another 10 tonight. So
Wow.
so you can obviously
Wow.
see that this guy is, that to me is my grittiest experience, because even though I was going through so much pain, I didn't give up on my goal. My goal was to hit 10 km, and I just pulled through. I just went all the way for my 10 km, and I made it. I did it. In fact, I did my 10 km in my fastest time in the last year. So yeah, that was
Wow.
an achievement for me. So yeah, that was my grittiest experience, most recent grittiest experience. Ray, how about you?
Let's see. I think I would put my gritty experience in the form of there's two different types. There's like the mini grits, which is basically grits that I encounter or experience on a daily basis. They are not as
Mhm.
they are not as dramatic or as big. And those are the mini grits, as I call it. And then there are those that will probably last for they are like challenges that are probably going to last for a longer term. So yeah, in terms of stories and experience, I guess the grittiest I've been was sometime back, but a few years ago, was to do with um my music learning journey.
Okay.
I started learning music again when I was 25, and starting off with piano. And as you know, the conventional belief is it's easier to take up music and learn a skill when you are younger. preferably when you're 2 years old lah. According to based on most talented musicians and prodigies and singers whatsoever, everyone tends to start young. And in my case, I did start young, but I quit at the age of 10. So there was a good 10-year gap before I started picking up the skill again. So having said that, at the age of 25, when you start picking up a skill again, and no doubt a musical one, there is a lot of mental barriers compared to that when you were a child. It was a lot more difficult. There's a lot more self-consciousness, a lot more fear and anxiety as far as practicing or even performing is concerned. So even though at that point I already realized that it's a little bit too late maybe to start off a career in something that I was very interested in at the time, I didn't give up. So from the age of 25, I think it was a good 10 years I've put into learning music, regardless, ignoring the fact that I don't have talent. And at most points while I was practicing, I did realize that I didn't really have the talent at all. I'm not much of a talented musician. It's not in me. But regardless, I just keep going. Managed to get what do you call it? A certification in jazz, and did a few concerts, did some recitals, and the big breakthrough came in when I set a goal for myself. I think in this book, page 9, it says that people with grit, those who are highly successful, they had determination and they had direction. So in this case, I had a very clear direction. I set a goal for myself that I wanted to perform in a pop culture convention. Pop culture as in referring to movies, games, animation, anime, and things like that. So I set that goal, and in 2016, I auditioned for it, as in just sent in a video audition, and I got in. So after 10 years of preparation, sitting through at least 4 different exams, countless hours of practicing, and then overcoming the anxiety and the fact that I'm not as talented as most younger musicians are. And that was in 2016, followed by 2017, then 2018, and yeah, it just keeps going from there. And now I guess I'm happily retired. So that was the most. I would say that was the most greediest I've experienced, because it was not an easy journey, and there were many times when I did ask myself, like, what the heck am I doing? Why am I wasting all my time? Technically, I had no social life at all. It was just constant practicing and constant recording, or constantly reviewing yourself for whether you're performing up to par or not. And yeah, when stage fright was also another thing for me. I didn't know that I actually had performance anxiety on stage. But in spite of that, even at the last minute, I want to run away. I just push myself to go for it. And there's always this nagging fear at the back of my mind that I'll make a mistake. I'll make a mistake. In the end, I managed to pull through. And there was a point that I wanted to pre-record my performances and just mime myself playing, like what they do with auto-tune, auto-record with those pop stars that you see nowadays on stage. But I chose not to do that and play live. Wow. So it was really scary. Yeah, it was really, really scary. Even thinking about and recalling back those moments, I was like, how entire nation did I went through all of that without fainting on stage? I'm not even sure if I could do it again. But having said that, I did say that I'm kind of retired right now from my music journey. But having read this first chapter of Grit, I was actually wondering, do I still have it in me? Do I still have that grit to do another recital?
Come on, do another one.
That's actually bubbling on my mind. I'm playing a bit on my mind if I should set myself a goal to perform next year in another event.
Wow, let us know when, let us know where, right? We'll definitely come and support you.
I'm not sure. Let's just say it's a spark. And that's what that's what happened. That's what happened when I was reading the book. I was like, do I still have it? Because seeing that I had so much grit back then, do I still have the same grit in me? It's been 4 years, yeah.
I think you do. I'm pretty sure you're. I mean, grit is like a muscle, right? So
Mm.
once you train it, it's there,
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah,
right?
let's talk about that. What do you think? I mean, is grit a muscle? If it's something that we have like maybe given up or retired for a while, and now we're thinking of going back into it again. Do you think that's actually possible?
Yeah.
With
So
grit, yes, I guess.
I think that's a very interesting point that you make, right? Because one of the parts in the book, slightly before page 9, I think, mentions these people who are successful. They keep going after failure. That means they fail and then they keep going. They fail and then they keep going. Now, failure doesn't mean that you didn't do it successfully. Failure also sometimes means that you didn't continue to pursue it. So maybe, for example, like your case where you have left it aside and then now you're gonna try and continue. Yeah, that's still being gritty. Like in the case of marathon, like my side, if I were to run 10 km and then after 5 km I feel tired, I start walking and then trying to push myself back into a running pace at 6 or 7 km just to make sure I finish the 10 km. Oh, that's also keeping going after failure. Like in the case of Atika, I'm pretty sure that as she's trying to program, right, there's definitely going to be programs that died. And then continuing to program after that
Yeah.
program has died, right? I think that that's part of being gritty. I think. What do you guys think?
I think absolutely. You just when things get really tough, and you just continue to push yourself in spite of the pain. I mean, I'm definitely not like you, Kenji. If my body starts hurting to some degree, I'll stop already. mm, that and picking up where you left off. Believe that also shows some level of grit.
What do you think, Tika?
What was the question again? Sorry.
So Ray asked us if do you think that picking up after you have left something behind, does that count as grit as well?
I think so too, because it's like you mentioned earlier, people who have grit, they have direction, right? So picking up things that you left behind is a direction that you wanted to pursue. It's not it's also a never give up situation where you really want to see where you're going for that. Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
Mm.
True, true. So, so I think that kind of answers that question of grit being picking up something after you have put it down, right? So Ray, we look forward to your concert next year.
It comes with a think may add I think it comes with a certain level of determination as well to want to maybe start all over again or to
Mm.
continue, and it takes a and I think there's a spark there or maybe a form of passion to want to do it again, because there's always a choice, you see, the choice whether okay, I've not done it anymore, so I've given it up, given up already, I'm not going to continue anymore. Okay, so there is that choice. But then there's also the other choice where I still have it in me. I want to do something about it. That kind of shows that the spark or the passion for it is still there. Maybe a bit rusty, but I guess that's where practicing or just picking it up again comes into the picture, and that's where grit is going to play a very strong role.
Yeah, yeah, I totally agree with that. Like you mentioned, the book says you must have a direction and you must be willing to put in the hard work. Right?
Mm.
It even mentions in the book there is when she starts talking about the grit scale, she mentions about stepping up to my line. Not above my line, not before my line, but to my line. Not even on my line, but stepping up to my line. Um, when she mentions that in the Green Beret example, right? So I
Mm.
believe that what this means, stepping up to the line, means is living up to the expectation that you have of yourself for that particular thing that you're trying to do. So let's say, for example, she also talks about the salespeople, right? She talks about salespeople in the grid scale. She says that these salespeople, they face so much rejection, right? But they still come in day after day after day after day after day, right? So, I mean, in the case of bees, you're stuck in bees for a few months, right? So if you drop bees, you cannot come back in, all right? But in the case of sales, there's always the option to say, okay, I have had enough today. I'm going to go rest. Tomorrow I wake up, then I go again. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So much like your question on whether it's okay to put something down and pick it up again later, I believe anyone in sales, I'm in sales. So from my own experience is that every day I go out, I do sales, I feel like, why can't I just keep going and going and going and going? Why do I have to go home to rest? Why do I have to go spend time with my friends? Why do I have to even stop to eat? You know, I just want to keep going until I achieve my target, but that is not possible. So, one part of being gritty is also knowing how to put something down and pick it up again later so that you can go further to achieve your target. That's what I think is very important when we are looking at grit.
But Beast doesn't seem to practice that. I mean, there is absolutely no breaks in between. I mean, like, what were they? What was this? What was? What are they expecting out of the candidates actually? I mean, like, if rest, taking a step back and resting, is important when it comes to grit, then how come like Beast doesn't do that? It's like the program is intentionally there to break you or something.
Yeah, that's a very powerful question that a lot of people have asked. What do you think, Tika?
This concept, I think, a few months ago, I actually watched a documentary about the soldiers doing the rigorous activities, right? So the reason why they have this kind of test is to make them prepare for worst case scenario in future. For example, that you have to, I think the word is hike for like a certain amount of kilometers, right? With equipment, full on equipment, which like weighs around 30 kg. It's just to make sure that in future, if let's say your vehicle breaks down in the middle of nowhere, you can actually hike back to your camp with with your
Mm-hmm.
equipment on. So yeah, I think that's what the main purpose of this is to prepare for yourself. That's why they don't have rest in between. They just wanted to make sure that the candidates can make it through that situation in I mean like the unforeseen situation. That's what I think about it.
That's a very powerful example, Tika. Right? I myself think that bees and sales are different. Okay. In the
Different
sense,
context here.
sorry,
Yeah.
in the sense that
The,
their objectives are different. Bees, the objective of bees is to make sure that the candidates for bees are put in a very desperate physical situation to test them mentally, right? We put you in a position where you're tired. We put you in a position where you're stressed. We put you in a position where you have a lack of time, lack of resources. What are you going to do? How are you going to survive, right? Rest is still important, which is the reason why I think it's the Navy SEALs. They have a method of sleeping where
oh yeah.
they can get their soldiers to sleep within 5 seconds or less, to get them to be able to sleep within 5 seconds or less under duress. You know, so there may be bombings happening outside, and you can still sleep inside the building within 5 seconds, because rest is important. So any amount of time you get to rest, you get to rest. But when it comes to sales, sales is less of sales is more like a marathon, where you don't know how far away you need to go. You don't know how many more rejections you have before you actually get your sale. You don't know how many more people you have to meet before you get one candidate. You know, you don't know. There are so many unknown factors. So in sales, they don't need to mess with your mind. But in bees, they need to mess with your mind, because that's the only way they can stress you out, right? Bees is like X amount of days, so you already know, okay, the time frame is set. But for sales, you don't know the time frame. You don't know if you're gonna be like Kentucky Fried Chicken, where you have to sell to 99 people and then the 100 person will actually buy something for you. Or you don't know whether you're gonna be like Coca-Cola, where the first year you sell 4 bottles and then the next year you sell 240 bottles. You don't know, right? So time is the unknown factor. So that's why they give you the allowance of physical freedom. They let you rest as much as you want, so that you can overcome the time factor. I think that's the reason why sales is so different from bees. And I think that distinction is quite powerful. Yeah. What do you think after you have heard our thoughts, Ray?
Yeah, it's like it's a totally different context, different situation. I mean, in bees, you're prepared to be soldiers. You're fighting for your lives. You're preparing yourself for war. In this case, sales is, it's just not quite the same. Yeah. So I guess you can't actually compare them in that sense. However, the grit part of it, where you don't give up, where you'll be tested mentally to some extent, and there will be obstacles to overcome mentally as well. I think that's where you can draw some form of some.
Wow. So I think that's about all the time we have for today. All right. So for those of you guys who are watching us online and you would like to join in the conversation, go ahead and type your questions next week, or prepare your questions next week. Next week we are going into chapter number 2. Okay. I'm not sure if we are able to finish chapter 2 next week, because chapter 2 is a bit longer than chapter 1 is. Um,
Yeah.
but we'll try. We'll try. Today we had some technical issues that caused us to delay. That caused us to delay
That's
slightly.
right.
Right? But that's okay. You know, it's a learning process. We are all here to learn and to grow, right? So we also
We'll
have
get
a.
better.
Sorry.
We will all get better.
Yep, we'll definitely
True,
get
true,
better.
true.
Yeah. We also have another session every Monday, which is also online but not streamed. So those of you guys who are interested in that, drop a comment, okay, and we will get in touch. We'll get in touch with you to find out if you want to join us. All right. So thank you all for your time. All right, and I'll see you guys next week for another session and chapter number 2. Oh, shall we do a simple summary of what we got from today's session? We've got about 3 minutes left. Let's hear from everyone. What do you understand from today's session? So for me, okay, what I learned from today's session is something that I totally didn't expect. Reading the book Grit, right? I've read the book twice already, but I didn't expect to learn new things today. But today, thanks for Ray's question, right? Ray's question was very powerful. The one where she asked, so what's the difference between beast and sales? And why is it so different? I think, Ray, you make a good point, right? Grit is very different. Grit is shown very differently when you're in sales and when you're in beast. Mainly because one, you already know how much time you have, and the other you don't know how much time you need, right? So that is something I think when I look forward to grit, I must remind myself that I cannot judge somebody as not being gritty just because the way that they show grit is different. I cannot say that the salesperson has no grit compared to the soldier. No, I cannot say that the kids going for spelling bee has no grit compared to the salesperson. No, they all show grit in different ways, right? So thanks Ray for pointing this out to me. And yeah, what did you guys
You're welcome.
pick up from today? Come, Tika, go ahead.
Atika, would you like to go first?
Yeah.
I think the first question that Ray asked, have you shown grit before? And then it's sort of like thrown me back to memories that I actually have grit, because when I first read this, I was like, do I have that grit, feelings in myself? And you keep on wondering whether if ever I decided to do something, would I be able to do it until the end? So when that question came, and then it reminded of how I started my career and stuff, and then now I'm pursuing into, like, looking into fitness. I can see a little bit of hope. Yeah, like, everyone have their own grit, and how they do it is based on what they set themselves to. Yeah, that's my take for today's sharing.
All right. Thanks, Tika. That's true, right? Everybody has grit. That's important. Ray, what do you think?
Hmm. For me personally, my takeaway, everyone shows grit in different ways. It may not be in the same situation, but there is that quality there where you don't give up, you stick to something to the very end, and not only that, but also showing the resilience to get up to recover from a setback or from failure, or to even pick up where you left off after you've maybe given up something for a long time. All that shows elements of grit as well. And as I shared earlier, when I first went through the chapter, the first question I asked was, when was the last time I showed grit? And grit does not necessarily need to be in like really dramatic, epic moments or in big achievements. It could be even be in small ones daily, like just showing up. So coming back to the chapter title, just showing up to an event, even when you don't want to, or pushing yourself to complete that 10-kilometer run that you want to do, or just putting aside your laziness and just doing that exercise routine that you dread and getting through with it. All those are all signs of grit. So I believe, like what Kenji said, grit is like a muscle. If you practice little bits of mini grits, as I call it, on a daily basis, then gradually you'll be able to tackle the much, much bigger challenges in the long run. Like the one that Atika shared, where she got into a 6 months programming program and has no idea what's in it for her and has no prior experience, and then stuck it all way to the very end. That's like really throwing yourself in the deep end.
Yeah, man. That's
Yeah.
literally the deep end. Yep. Okay.
So yeah, I think that's my takeaway. And I guess I feel I guess in that sense I feel good that there is some grit, but definitely there's always room to improve our grittiness.
Cool. I thank you guys so much for today's session. Right. I really hope you guys had more insights. I definitely had more insights reading together with you guys compared to reading it by myself. I mean, when I first read Grit, it was by myself. So thank you so much, guys. And that's all the time we have for today. So I'm going to stop the live stream now. Those of you guys who want to join us offline, let us know, and we will accommodate. Right? We will accommodate you guys into our Discord channel. No worries. But yeah, let me just stop the stream.